Happy Crafternoon, everyone. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today, we're going to have some fun because we are doing the next edition in our Master Layout series. And today's Master Layouts is Master Layouts 13. Now, Master Layouts 13 is one of my all-time favorite Master Layout sets because this one gives you the opportunity to use some of those beautiful pattern papers that you have in your collection or to create your own. And it was designed specifically for fancy fold cards, but you can use it without doing fancy folds too. So I have a bunch of samples to show you, and then I have the next binder here all ready to go. Master Layouts 13 through 18. I picked this up last night and started working on this, and I'm just so excited about today's video, and I hope you are too. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
Happy Crafternoon. I am better than horrible. Backhand spring and a master layout.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, they go together.
Yeah, and you have a busy weekend coming up, don't you?
I'm working in the garden, aren't I?
He is. Tom is building me a garden box, like a big U-shaped garden box. So that's my other hobby outside paper crafting.
Making sure to remind me.
I want to make sure you don't forget.
Line it up. Yeah, I'll be moving some earth.
You will. That's exciting, though. I'm very excited about that. But I'm really excited about today's video. This is one of my favorite master layout sets, Tom. And you know I love the fancy folds.
She said that going in today. She said, I'm so excited. This is one of my favorites.
Yes. And do you have a word of the day today?
I do.
Yeah?
I do have a word of the day. And should I announce the new format we're going to try?
Well, yeah. I mean, at least for today, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a great idea from a viewer from our last video live that we did, Diana. Mm-hmm. Diana said, why don't you just throw the word out there and let us figure out what it means?
I think that's a great idea.
So we're going to try that today. And it's actually going to be an easy one. It really should speak for itself. So
well,
it's a good, easy start, I think, to that format. But thank you, Diana, for that idea. That's a great idea, and we'll have fun with that in a little bit.
That'll be super. All right. Well, let's get on with it because you know these Master Layouts videos. They've got a lot of information in them. So for those of you that are new to the Master Layout series, if you go over to ginakdesigns.com and click on the blog tab, you'll see an entry called Templates and Charts. And that's where you can find all of the printables for all 13 master layout sets that we've done so far, including this cover sheet that you can put into your binder. Mine isn't straight, and that's going to drive me nuts. But so each binder has a cover sheet, and this QR code, you can use your smartphone or your tablet to put over this QR code with your camera app up, and a link will pop up, and that is the link to where all of the charts are. So each week that we do a new Master Layouts video, you can just grab your binder, put your camera over that, and then go right to the page where the next downloads will be available for you. And then I just put on my binders here, I used just a regular old label maker, and I have Master Layouts 13 through 18 on this one. So this is my third binder. I use a 1.5 inch binder. Some of you were smarter and you got bigger binders than me, but some of you, I shouldn't say smarter, because for me, I have arthritis in my hands, so it's easier for me to lift the smaller binders than the real big ones. Whatever works for you, you can do your binder any way that you want. All right, so inside the binder here is our newest sizing sheet for Master Layouts 13. These sizing sheets show you all the dies that are in the collection. These are not actual size, but they show you all the different dies. And then it has the 13 right here. And then here, the die sizes are spelled out for you. Now, every once in a while, you might get one that's like, well, that's not exactly the right size because it might be 1.7 by 1.2 or 5.12. We rounded up a little bit to go to the closest one that it would be. And that's more, the die sizes really are more for you to look at and say, is this going to fit my stamp or is this going to fit my project? So it might be off by like 2/100ths of an inch here and there, 5/100ths of an inch. But for the most part, these are fairly accurate. Now, after you've put your sizing sheet in here, then you can move to the idea sheet and look at this idea sheet. I made this last night. It was very fun to make this for you guys. I had so much fun. But a couple things I want to point out about this idea sheet here. There are two folds here. This is a horizontal Z fold, and this is a vertical Z fold. And the one thing I want you to notice, and I put it on here so that you would know, that this panel actually goes on this, on the inside, like behind this, or right next to it when it's opened. But I wanted you to know that you would make one and put it there. So it says this panel, I'm sorry, I gotta put my glasses on, I can't even read it. Let me get my glasses. It says this panel goes on the section behind the front panel. This one too. So even though you see it here, you're actually going to put it back there. And then you're going to put something different here, which I'm going to show you. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is what master layout sets 13 coordinates with. So 13 coordinates with 3 other master layout sets. It coordinates with master layouts 2, it coordinates with master layouts 1, and it coordinates with master layouts 14. And I will explain that when I show you some of the samples, okay? Now, behind this sheet in my binder, and a lot of you are doing this too, I have a little pack here of what we call tri-cuts. These are die-cut pieces that are already cut out and assembled the way they would be assembled with the backing panels and whatnot. And then these are used to try with some of the other master layouts pieces. So you might want to see how this, I'll just give you an example. You might want to see how that works with, let me pull out my other binder here, and we're going to go to master layouts 8. Let's go to 8 here. This is 10. We'll go to 8. So you might be looking at this and going, I wonder how this triangle would look if I angled 2 of these onto master layouts 8. So you could lay that on there and see how far apart that would be, and then imagine popping that on top, and you could say, oh, okay, I like the way that looks, or no, that's too small or too big, maybe I just want one at the top. That's what these tri-cut pieces are for. So that is what I make after I make each of my different pieces here. I make an extra set and put them all together, and this way I can use these. They're ready to go. I don't have to use my imagination. I can actually see how they work. All right. Oh, Joan, you call them trimies? That's good too. I like that. Our friend Yaya coined the phrase tri-cuts, so we've been using it. But we like all the different options. Now, what I've done here is I've done a few different designs for you. So I'm going to pull these out because these are interactive. And on this particular set of cards, I actually did full card bases. And the reason I did full card bases on these, well, 2 of them I didn't need to, but I was like on a roll, so I did. But I did them because these are cards that actually open. These are fancy folds. So here we have a vertical gatefold card. And you can see that the pieces here that kind of upholster the front panels are part of Master Layouts 13. This piece is also part of Master Layouts 13, and you can see the way that opens. All right, so here is a horizontal gatefold card, and again, these upholster the 2 panels in the front, and then the same size panel just turned on an angle creates your focal image point. So you could see how these might look with a card project. So let's grab a couple little pieces here. I've got a bunch of bits and pieces in my bag that we can use to take a look at what would work. Let me see here. I know I don't have them all in one thing. I have some in this one as well. So I have bags of this kind of stuff that I make when I don't know what to make. So here, let's say for this card, we wanted to have this on the front, and then we wanted to have, this is from our spring cluster set, and this is from the ornate birds. So let's say we wanted it to look like that, right? That's what that would look like. So I can kind of see how that would all look when it's closed and also when it's open. Same thing with this one. Maybe I would want to do something a little more vintage for this and put that vintage bike in here, and then have something like this just on the one side. Well, would that work? No. See, I have my little panel here to try it, but maybe it would work more on this side, or it could work over here, but that's going to tell me which side I have to tape down to the front. So if I want this look, right, then I would keep this side open and adhere this side down. But because I've already adhered that down, I would have to do it this way. See what I mean? How that's going to open? So this just gives you some options to look at how these would look and how you should lay them out with the fact that they open. Then I've got some cards here that actually don't open. So you can see that you can use this design, these different designs, without making fancy folds. Now, I was on a roll, so these actually do open, but that's okay to have in your binder every once in a while, right? So in this case, maybe you would want to, have a hot air balloon going up, or again, I love this. Of course, the colors aren't right, because I chose to do a bright red, but I always pick a color here. And then this could overlap onto this little piece right here. Now, this little piece right here, you can also stamp on. So if you wanted to have a little strip sentiment going up the side this way, you could stamp that up here. And then I suggest with these extra pieces that these are great areas to use your pattern papers that you've made. So I'm going to show you an example of some of these cards here. So for this one, I've got a couple projects that I made. Now remember, this is part of the Master Layouts 13 here. Sorry, we're on 13, not 14. This little rectangle here is part of 13, and so is this one. However, you can sub out a different shape. You could sub out an oval or a circle. So here's an example of this card right here, but I subbed out a circle for it, and I did a happy birthday and sending love. So you can see that is a vertical gatefold card. And you can see I made my own pattern paper, and I just cut that out using those dies from Master Layouts 13. Then this one, I don't have a sample of, but remember, you can also turn these, and you could have a cool card that opens this way if you want. Right? You could have a cool card that opens this way. Now, here's another thing that you could do with this. With either one of these, you could put a full back card on this. So you could mount this whole thing onto another card base so it can stand up. And for this, you can seal up the sides here, and then you could tuck in a gift card. So that could be a little pocket, pretend that's a gift card. Right? And then this would open up this way, a little surprised gift card inside, and then just mount this whole thing onto another A2 card base so it can stand up. So then it would have a pocket. Same with this. You could make this a little pocket, and you could put anything in there. It doesn't have to be a gift card. It could be some fun Christmas tags that you want to give somebody, or it could be, a cash. You could put cash in something there like that, or any kind of like a special letter that you wrote to them. So that's another way to use this layout. All right, now for these, I want to show you a card that I made not that long ago when we were making our own pattern paper. I used this exact layout, and you can see how beautiful that is. I made all this pattern paper in my pattern paper and ephemera video from a couple weeks ago, and I used Master Layouts 13 to create this layout. And then instead of doing a strip sentiment, I just did a cluster of flowers that I made and then added a greeting. So you can see what color is the basis for the ML. This is Christmas red. That's what I use. But you could use red hot, or you could use red velvet too. Okay, so there you go. That's a very, very cute little card using this layout, and this is not a fancy fold. So you could certainly do that, you know, this way. I have another version of this same card where I didn't finish the bottom here. Instead, I used Master Layouts 2 for the bottom. And here is what that card looks like. So I did the top triangle, but then I used Master Layouts 2 as a full panel. And then again, I used this Master Layouts 13, this same die, and added my cluster on there. And I did a little foiling on this card, but I made my own patterned paper using the gauze stamp. So you can see that's another idea that you can do with that layout. Now this layout, I don't have a sample to show you. But I mean, you know, you've seen just kind of what it would look like if you added some flowers and some ephemera. You can see different ways that you can do that. If you want, you can even extend that over there and add some more flowers to it. And you can add, again, something smaller like this greeting. So, but I think if you did this with some of that pattern paper that we made and you kind of went with that color scheme, or you had even something simple, just like the gauze background or the sweater background on there, it would create a beautiful contrasting texture from everything else going on with the card. Okay, so that's that. Now, I have these here. I will put these back, but I think I'll do it later because it takes a little bit. I have these to show you. Now I'm going to pull this out, and I'll show you how I did these. And I did these this way for a reason. So I used 2 of our small stamp pockets, and I just taped them down onto this because I needed this to be able to come out of the package, okay? I needed to be able to move it to show you a few things. And I like having these loose like this because there are 2 ways that you can make this card. So let's look at this one first. This is the vertical version, all right? And this is the horizontal version. I'm sorry, this is the vertical version. This is also vertical, but you can do both of these on the horizontal is what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's talk about this one first. So this is called a Z-fold card. So it opens like this. So you could do a lot of fun things with a Z-fold card. You could have your beautiful, you know, your beautiful focal image. You could have your greeting over here. You could do this whole part here with pattern paper. You could add an extra triangle coming in from the corner, kind of like I did here on this card. But what's fun about this particular Z-fold card is you could hide a gift card right here. So this would make a really fun birthday card. You could have a bigger birthday greeting right here, and then when they open it up, surprise, there's a gift card glued right into here. So that's kind of like a secret little spot that you can put something. You can also put a private little message here that even when it's standing up, like a Z-fold card. Tom, why don't you go for the front shot here for a second? You can see like when this is standing up, it'll stand up cute like that, but that little private message will be hidden in the back. All right, so you can see how they stand up. Now, the other thing that's really cool about this particular design is this can be a stair-step card. And the way you turn it into a stair-step card is you put a card base that is top fold like this on the back, all right? So you would use the same color, would make more sense. But then you can stand this up like this, and it has the different steps. Now let me show you a finished card that I did using this stair-step method. Here it is. You guys probably saw this video too. So here it is, the stair-step card. So when it's sitting up, and it's got, I put it on a white card base back here. So when it's sitting up, this is the way it's going to look. Let me move my brushes out of the way. But you can see you get like dimensions. So you can have rows of things. So you could have a snow hill on the front with some snowmen, right? And then in the background, you could have pine trees, and you could have winter trees coming in from the background. And it gives your card dimension then. So when you do scene building, or you can do something like this with, you know, just flowers, and having flowers in the back and flowers in the front, and just giving it all that dimension. These pockets are on our website, and they are our small stamp pockets. They're, I don't know, 5 by 5 maybe. You'd have to look at the product. Oh, I have a ruler here. Let me see. I can measure that for you. Yep, they're like 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So they're perfect for our little 4 by 4 mini sets, our incentive sets. They fit perfectly in here, but they're also great for this. Okay, so that is a stair-step card. And I wanted to show you a couple other things here before we get started with making some cards. That was this one. Now I wanted to show you, let's put this back. I'll get this back in the pocket here. So this is the same exact Z-fold card, except I did it horizontally, and these all use Master Layouts 13. But here's the difference. When you do it vertically like this, with the tall, skinny one, you're going to use Master Layouts 14 for the white panel and Master Layouts 1 for the black panel. Then they'll all be exactly the same size. See how that looks? Now you can't really fit a gift card in here, but you could fold some money up and put it in there if you wanted a little surprise. So Master Layouts 1 and 14 to create that. There's a big stitch die in Master Layouts 14 that coordinates with the plain die, the larger plain die in Master Layouts 1. And it's the perfect size. All of the stitching is exactly the same size and the same spacing. So all of our Master Layouts are interchangeable that way. But you could also do a stair-step card this way. So all you would do then is add your card base to the back, right? So you would add that so it could stand up, and then it would have the little stair-step idea. So these are both Z-fold cards and stair-step cards, which I think is super fun and super cute. Now, I want you to know that I have 2 more cards to show you real quickly here that both used Master Layouts 13. I made this one with Megan Andrew. I used the long skinny ones here to do my brick wall and my wood grain, and then I used the smaller one from Master Layouts 13 to create this cute little gatefold. And then on the inside, I have Master Layouts 2. So that's a fun little card. And then one more I wanted to show you. I made this quite a while ago. This is another way that you can use this. So, oh gosh, what is this called? This is called Pocket Full of Sunshine, this stamp set. And it's 3 little pockets, and then it's got these cute animals and flowers. And this is also a vertical gatefold card, but you can see how that opens, right? I think it's called Pocket Full of Happiness. I'm not sure, Brienne. Is it Pocket Full of Sunshine or Pocket Full of Happiness? It's one of those. I think it's Pocket Full of Happiness. And so you can see, you can have different cute little die-cut images and put them, stagger them. One in the middle, one on the top, one on the bottom. So when they close, they kind of lock together like that. So isn't that fun? All right. Okay, So I'm going to put these cards away, and we are going to get to some card making here. Now, I'm not going to make a lot of cards today since I showed you a lot of cards in the samples, but I do want to show you, you know, at least the folding part of it. And I also want you to know that on that same spot on our website, we have templates for these fancy folds. So this one is for our Z-fold card. This is for our vertical Z-fold card. This one is for our horizontal Z-fold card. And this one I called a flip fold fancy fold card because I made a video that has this flip thing that's added to it. So if you want to see this video, just print this template out and then use the QR code and it'll take you right to the video on YouTube. Same with this one. This one, I don't have the video linked to it. This was before I was doing that, but this does the Z fold and it's very self-explanatory. And then I just used a circle on the video that I made for this one. If you go onto YouTube and you type in horizontal Z fold card Gina K, my video will come right up. And then this one here is that Perfect Spring Fancy Fold. That is the stair step card that I showed you with the 2 flowers. Let me grab that again so you know which one it is. It's this one here. This shows you how to get all this layering inside here as well if you wanted to cut the panels by hand and you didn't want to use Master Layouts 13. And then again, you can find that video real quick just by opening up your tablet or your smartphone, and this QR code will take you right to the spot on the video. And all of these templates are available on our blog. You can just scroll all the way down and see everything that's available. It has pictures of the cards, and you can print these out, and you can put them in the binder too with whatever master layouts they correspond to. So this is another little resource for you guys for this this die set. All right, so what I thought I would show you guys today is just this quick little Z-fold card. And then I would show you a gatefold card and how easy it is to make those. And I'll just use some of the bits and pieces that I've already cut to be able to not make you wait all day with this video. Okay, we don't want the video to go on for 5 hours today with all of those designs. So that's why I made so many card areas to show, like so many different card samples, and put all those ideas into the idea sheet. And then I wanted to show you cards that I had already made with them. All right, so for the gatefold card, the gatefold cards are very easy to make. So let's just pick something here. We'll pick a this piece of cardstock here. And I do want to measure it to make sure it's the right size because I pulled it out of my scrap box. But this should be 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and it is. All right, so what you're going to do here to make the gatefold card is you're going to use your scoring tool, and you're going to score it at the 2 1/8 of an inch. Okay, 2 1/8 of an inch. And then you're going to flip it around, and you're going to score it again at 2 1/8 of an inch. So this is going to be the gatefold. Now, we've talked about how to, how to fold properly and, bury the bump, right? So the bump is on the opposite side. We're going to bury it inside the card, bury the bump, and then we're going to just use that tool to, make the crease nice and defined. Okay. There we go. All right, so now we have our gatefold card, and that could also be the pocket fold if we wanted to seal up the edges with some terrific tape or score tape, whatever you have, and then we would just put a card base on the back of that. So it would open kind of like an envelope in the front, but we could still stand it up. All right, now let's make a little bit of pattern paper. So I'm going to get some white cardstock here. And I'm going to make some pretty pattern paper. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going to use one of my background stamps. And I think I'll go like 5.5 by 5.5 so we can get as much paper make as much pattern paper as we can. Now you can use background stamps for this. You can use, you can use stencils, whatever you want to do to make your own pattern paper. Or you can use pattern paper from your stash too. And I'm sure you guys have loads of pattern paper, you know, from the good old days of pattern paper. We all have so much of that. Why not use it up and get rid of it? Okay, so I'm going to use some sea glass ink for this. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. So the measurements for the fancy fold card, I just went through that, but you might be a little behind in the video. So you'll be able to see all of those measurements for the fancy fold. And also, like I said, you can go to the blog at any time and print any of those fancy folds, and the charts are all, you know, they have all the measurements on them. And also the videos are very, very detailed videos, so you'll be able to see exactly how to make it. So check that out when you get a chance. But the card that I'm making right now is just a simple A2 card. It's a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. A fancy fold A2 card is always just a half sheet, well, usually a half sheet of A2 of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and then the way you score it determines how it opens. If you score it halfway, it opens like a regular card. If you score it at that 2 1/8 of an inch mark, it can open like a gatefold or a Z-fold. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to just lay this right on top like that. I'm going to grab the top sheet from that stamp and make good contact with the whole thing. Well, I appreciate you guys all being here so much, and I hope that some of that helps. I know it's like, it's hard to kind of go through every single design that I share in the idea sheet, but the good news is that every single one of those ideas has a video out there on my YouTube channel too. But it's pretty easy kind of too. You guys are kind of getting used to the different layouts and how to lay the flowers and stuff over them, and it just creates a little more interest when you have those different bits and pieces and half circles and things like that. It just jazzes up your whole card making process. All right, I want to make sure I get all of it here. Let's see.
Lynn O wants to know what is the indoor garden product you're using that's on your favorite things section of the website.
The what?
The indoor garden product. It's the Rise.
Yeah, we use the Rise Gardens. We love it. I love it. Okay, so now look at that beautiful pattern paper I have. And this is the close knit background stamp that I'm using. Now I'm going to clean that real quick just so that I don't put it back and get all inky next time I grab it. I'll just get inky now while I'm cleaning it. And I know I've got a big blue blotch there, and that's because I've used this stamp so many times to make pockets with our pocket die, and I use blue denim a lot with it because I want it to look like a fabric. I use blue denim with this and with the gauze stamp to make denim-looking pockets and fabric-looking pockets. Okay, so now we're going to cut these out using the Intracut die cutting machine. Okay, and let me find the die set here. So it's Master Layouts 13. It's got a lot of dies in it. I love this set. This is super fun. I think there's one still down here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to be using the tall stitch die here. Aw, thank you so much, Maureen. I'm so glad that my videos are helpful. Now for this, what you want to do is you want to make sure, because we have like a pattern that's straight up and down. You know, if this was just random flowers, it wouldn't matter. But with a pattern that's straight up and down, you do kind of want to center it a little bit, and you kind of want to get it in a spot that you can replicate again on the next one. And that's just going to make it look better. All right, so I think that looks pretty straight, but let me get one more piece of Masking Magic here to tack this down. I'm using our Masking Magic strips. Somebody asked in our group, can we put Masking Magic strips on a roll? And we can't. And the reason is because Masking Magic is not tape. It's not tape. It's paper. And that's why you can stamp on it and it doesn't smear. And that's why we can get it to be as low tack as it is. So we can't put it on a roll, but we want it to have the ability to have something that feels like tape, and that's where our Masking Magic strips come in. So the strips are awesome. If you haven't tried them yet, grab some, because I have so many videos on techniques using Masking Magic strips. It's really fun. All right, so now we have our first piece of pattern paper. You can see that looks pretty straight and centered. Now we got to nail that again on the next one. So we're going to do that again here.
Pat wants to know, is it okay to let the tidy towel dry out between uses?
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of people would say it's recommended because then, you know, it doesn't smell. Because sometimes if you coop it up in something and then you don't use it for a while and you open it up, it smells a little musty. If you let it dry out, it's totally fine. All you have to do is submerge it back into some hot water for a couple minutes. It'll come right back to life. So that's not a problem. Just don't put it in your dryer. Just let it air dry. I do put it in my washer though. I wash it with like my black leggings and stuff. Okay, so now we have two, and I think they're pretty close together. Close knit. Pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut two black layers, and I can keep this little bit for another pattern paper design. I may not be able to get a full die cut out of it, but I certainly can cut it into a strip, so I'll save that with my bag of goodies. And then we're going to do some black cardstock here. Here's one piece I can use. We're going to cut two black panels of the plain one. Yeah, people have good luck with the Masking Magic. Oh, Liz, I'm so glad you like the folder. The new folder, the new kit. It's very fun. It sold out so quickly. Well, I should say, it didn't really sell out that quickly. It took 10 days to sell out, which is pretty good for our kits. But, yeah, we were sad to see that, you know, that it sold out because not everybody got a chance to get it. But those products will be available in our next release, and we will have a limited amount of the folder as well. Okay. I'm just trying to read your comments at the same time as I'm cutting. Which is fine with die cutting, but not with knife cutting. All right, so now we have these pieces right here. Now I'm going to do a white piece using just this plain, well, not plain, but smaller stitched rectangle. I want to have a little white grounding panel. It had a little mark on the other side. So a little white grounding panel for my flowers. And then I'm going to have a little black one to outline that. So let's get a black panel here. Should work. And if you ever have trouble with any of your dies cutting all the way through, make sure you turn them on an angle like that when you can. I know that's not always possible with every die cutting machine, and also some of the really big ones you almost have to have straight, like Master Layouts 10, you have to have it straight in the intercut because it's not long enough to turn it on an angle. It's just the right size to make it go through straight. But, you know, you have to remember that dies, they last a long time, but they are blades. And just like any blade, over time, if you are using it like crazy, like I use Master Layouts 2 on almost every card I make. I really do. Even with these gatefold cards, I would put a Master Layouts 2 in the center like I did on this card. Like, let me find it here. You know, I like to have the inside decorated 2. So I use Master Layouts 2 on almost every card that I make. And I actually just recently started thinking about replacing it because the blade, I mean, I've had it for how many years now? I can't even remember when we started with our Master Layout series, but it's been, gosh, it's been years. How long has it been, Tom, do you think? Has to be like 4 years, 5 years maybe, that we've had the Master Layout series. So, you know, all that time I've been using that same die set over and over again. So although they are tools and they do last a very long time, if you use it like crazy, you just never know with dies. And, you know, what's funny is until the Master Layouts came along, most of us were just using just shape dies every now and then. But I think people use these Master Layouts in everything they make. And that's great. I do. So, you know, it's just something to keep in mind that, you know, 5 years, you might have to think if there's no way to, there's just no way to sharpen a blade on a die. You might have to get a new one here and there. All right, which side? There we go. All right, here we go. I'm going to line this up. That's one side. Looking good. But that will be my very first time replacing anything. And it's just Master Layouts 2 because I use it on every single card. However, if I turn it on an angle, it cuts fine. So maybe I just will keep doing it on an angle. Okay. Now here we go. And then we're going to pop these on the front. And you'll see these were designed, they're just so perfect for these gatefold cards. And I'm actually, I don't recommend doing this, but I'm going to do it just for the purpose of this video. I'm just going to tape that down. I'll be able to open it again, don't worry. All right, so now I'm going to add these to the front. So nothing jazzes up a gatefold card like these little upholstered panels.
Question from Josie. She said she noticed around Master Layout 7 the beautiful card samples stopped. Is there any way you could include that for us? I'm very visual as you have such gorgeous cards as samples that would help.
I don't know what she means that they stopped.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I've made card samples for every Master Layouts video, and I've posted them. They're in the guides section on our Facebook group, and they're also here on the YouTube channel on my posts tab. I always share the pictures afterwards. So maybe you just possibly missed them. What I would do is I would check in our Facebook group, and I would go up at the top, there are tabs. I would go to the guides tab, click on that, and then you'll see the ideas sheets, 1 through 12 right now. I'll put 13 up after I'm done. And then you'll see card ideas for 1 through 12. And you can find everything there. You're able to right click on them and save them to your computer if you want. So they are there. I'm thinking possibly you missed them. But I make cards with every one of these videos. All right, so now we've got our little panels there. And then this one is going to go into the center like that. So the one thing that we have to remember when we're doing a gatefold is we only want to put tape on whatever side we want that flap to open. So if, for example, I wanted to do it this way or something, you know, and I wanted everything to kind of come up this way, I would only put it over here. I would not put it down here. But if I wanted it to, for some reason, I wanted it to open this way, like maybe I had like a, I don't know, something that would come up from behind it, you would do it on that side. But I'm just going to do it on this side right here. And then I'm going to center that on my card. And because we took the time earlier to center and make sure that our little knit background was straight, it made it a little bit easier to center it along those lines of the knit background. Now I think I'll use this flower today. So I'm going to pop this flower up with some foam squares. And Tom, let me know if that answer wasn't right. I don't, like if that's not what she was asking, I can try to determine what else she needs to know. All right, and then I'm going to put a couple more foam squares here. Alrighty. And then we'll pop that up. So I love to add that little extra dimension, but I will put one more little foam square here. Yeah, the card kit did sell out. It only lasted 10 days. And honestly, I mean, I'm going to be completely transparent here. We ordered the most that we could possibly order of this one, more than most of our kits. But the previous month we ordered more than most of our kits, and they did not sell out. So, you know, we were apprehensive to even add more because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what was going to happen with anything. And then all of a sudden the kit sold out. So, you know, it's very hard to determine in this climate right now, like how many things we should order. But we ordered as many as we possibly could for that last one. So now you see what I did here? I taped just on this part, just the half, because I want it to hang over the edge here, like this.
Request from Beverly to do more with the Chef's Choice recipe card bundle.
Oh, I'll have to talk to Rena about that.
That was kind of fun.
That was fun, yeah. Okay, and so now you can see how that's going to look when it opens. Even though this is hanging over the edge, it's going to come with that card front. Now, if you want, you can cut a sea glass in the same size as that black, and you can put sea glass behind there, and you could put sea glass behind here, so when you open it, everything looks like sea glass, and you can just add that extra layer if that bothers you to see what that looks like. But there is our first card. And that is a very simple gatefold card. But doesn't it make a difference with that little bit of background here compared to the plain ones that you saw in the beginning? Love that. Okay, so now I want to make a Z-fold going in the opposite direction. So I want to do like a horizontal Z-fold because I want to show you what that is. And once you see those two folds, then you can make anything because the Z-fold and the gatefold are the same measurements. It's just where you put the score line that's different. So we're going to do a Z-fold card. And let me see what I want to use for this Z-fold first. I want to make sure that I have some good pieces of pattern paper here. I'm going to use these two pieces of pattern paper that I made. And I think I will use maybe this flower that I made. It's a little purpley, but I think it's going to be pretty. Or I could use, let me use some of these. This is our watercolor ephemera. I always love the watercolor ephemera. So I think I'll use some of the watercolor ephemera, and I have more up here somewhere. Here's some more. So we can grab some different pieces here and some bits and pieces of leaves.
A few questions on what happened to Red Hot cardstock? Was that replaced by
No,
Christmas?
Red Hot cardstock and Christmas Red were almost identical colors. So we've decided to keep the Christmas Red that will work with the Red Hot. We don't have a Christmas Red ink. And when we brought the Christmas Red in, people were saying, oh my gosh, it's so close to Red Hot. So we've decided to keep that. All right, I think that's going to be enough. Maybe I'll add one more flower in there. All right, let's do that. I think that's going to be pretty. Gosh, there's so many pretty flowers here. This is pretty too. That's a little too peachy. So we'll go with this. We'll go with this look. I think it will be quite lovely. Alrighty, now with the Z-fold card, this is going to enable me to show you how it coordinates with Master Layouts 2 as well. And I'm trying to think, do I have one more panel of pattern paper that I could use? I think I could get 2 panels out of one of these. So I think that will work. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside, these flowers aside. So we've got our little bits here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use this die this time and this die this time from Master Layouts 13. So we're going to cut 2 panels. I think we could use this. Let's use the pink. First, I got to just see here what this is going to look like if I use it on here. Oh, that's really pretty too. You know what? I'm going to cut them out of here. I know it's crazy, but I'm going to cut the panels out of here. I think I could do one there and one there. Okay. Let's just go for it. I'd like to do both, but I need one big enough for Master Layouts 2. So I think this sticking out of the Z-fold is going to be very pretty. And then we'll have pink over here and pink over here. And I think that'll look good. So let me get the die cutting machine. Got to think it through first, right? Okay. I don't think we need to be quite that close. And then I will share all the other cards that I shared earlier also in the same post. So you'll be able to like look at all of those other cards up close as well. Okay, so I want to kind of line this up so I get the same. I could do it like that. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do that. Now I'm going to turn this so I can see it a little more straight when I tape it down. These pattern papers were so much fun to make, and if you missed that video, I highly recommend you watch it because you're going to have so much fun making your own pattern paper and ephemera. I did. I had a great time. We had a lot of fun. Look, Brienne already has the link. Thank you, Brienne. I appreciate it. Pattern papers are so much fun to make, and we've got such beautiful stamps, right, in our collections, right? All of us. We have beautiful stamps. Okay, and you can see how pretty that is with that stitched edge. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I think that will be pretty good right there. And we'll tape it down again. Again, I don't want it to move since it is a straight up and down pattern. This one, I don't care. That's right, Maria. Thinking through is the hard part. I agree. It's like trying to decide, and then, you know, once you've cut it, if I was like, oh, I wish I would have used the pink. Well, too late. I don't have any more. I have to make more. So there's my 2 panels that are going to go on the front. Now I'm going to cut 2 of the plain rectangle, the smaller rectangle, in guess what color? I know, surprise, black. I'm going to do black. So we'll do 1 black here. You know I love my Papa Black. Can't do it without it. Okay. Donna, I don't know if she's on Facebook. Brienne, are you on Facebook at the same time? Because I know that you can't see anybody's comments from Facebook. That's why we always kind of say to people, come on over to YouTube because it's a little more interactive over here. But if she's close to Facebook or she can get over there, I want to make sure this is... Does that look right? Yeah, that looks right. I don't know. This black looks blacker to me for some reason. Could be my eyeballs. I'm going to cut this one. Well, they all look the same now. But Brienne can see all the comments here on on YouTube. So I don't know if she's over there on Facebook or not. And Brianne, I don't know if you're probably not a moderator on our Facebook page, but you could still... I'm only here. Yep, she's trying to do both. But she's usually on our YouTube channel, so you can find all the links. And then I can also add links to the videos in the description on YouTube. So for those of you who watch it on Facebook, you could always go over to YouTube and look at the video and all the description. I always put like everything that I used in the video, and links to everything are always on my YouTube channel. So I cut a third one because once again, I need a plain white one that's going to go in the opposite direction with that stitched one. This is my grounding panel, so I need a grounding panel again. All right. Where can we find the video on paper making? Yeah, I know. I'll put that in the description on YouTube. And you can come over to the YouTube video after the live, or you can hop over here now. It's very interactive over here on YouTube, and you'll be able to get all of that information that Brianne is sharing in the chat here on YouTube. Okay, so now I'm going to use Master Layouts 2, and I'm going to cut this one. And the reason why I'm using Master Layouts 2 is because Master Layouts 2 is the exact same size, you can see, as this from Master Layouts 13. You see they're exactly the same size going across. So this is going to give us consistency between the three panels. All right, so that is tight there. I'll make it. It's tight. And Brianne, thank you for being such a link ninja for everybody. I'm sure that they really appreciate it. Donna, you don't need the login on YouTube to watch the video. You can still watch the video here. See, this is what I mean. I've used it so much that I'm going to just flip it over and I'm going to cut it one more time. Actually, I'm not. I think I'm just going to bend it and just cut it that way. But I'm due. I'm due. I have gotten 5 lifetimes out of this die. I really have.
Is it dying?
It's dying. It's dying. It happens. You know, this old girl, she's put in her days. Remember, it's Master Layouts 2. It was one of the very first ones. All right, and I'm going to cut a black panel out of the plain die. Oh, I see. Brianne just said her links won't work on Facebook. The way she links, they don't work on Facebook. So you'll have to get the links over here on YouTube, or you'll have to come to the YouTube video after the video is over, and you can grab the links from the description. Okay, so let's put this away for now. And like I said, anybody can watch on YouTube, even if you know, I mean, even if you aren't able to log in, you can still watch videos. YouTube lets you. Okay, so now I'm going to layer all of these together. Most of the time your YouTube account is the same as your Gmail account, and if you can reset your Gmail account password with the I forgot my password, then that'll get you right into YouTube as well.
Anita wants to know if you've ever tried to use foil to sharpen your dies.
You know, I have, and I find that it doesn't make that much of a difference, but I'll try it. I'll try it again. We'll give it another shot. Okay, that's a little too close. Now, I think the color that I'm going to use here with this, I want to see what Innocent Pink looks like, because I feel like that's going to be a really good color up against these. Yeah, let's use Innocent Pink. We're going to make an Innocent Pink Z-fold. I might have one already cut over there. And now I'm going to layer these panels together. And remember, this is the same layout as the stair step card. So there's, you know, it's so cool how the different fancy folds work as a Z fold or as a stair step. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if we can figure out the linking over on Facebook, but you know, Brianne's got a lot of windows open right now, so it's hard for her to be in more than one place. We've actually thought about just moving everything over to YouTube. For some reason, our system isn't working with Twitch anymore, but the majority of the people that watch us are watching us on YouTube. And so, I mean, I'd consider trying to get your password working if that's the situation, because, I mean, sometimes we do fun things. We have the ability to do polls, and we've done some polls in the past and stuff like that. So it might be worth trying to get over onto YouTube. And if you need any help with that, like, reach out to me and I'll see if I can help you try to get back on with my limited knowledge. All right, I'm going to turn this way. All right, because for some reason, whatever direction I want the piece to be on my card, I almost have to layer it that way. It looks straighter to me when I do it that way. Well, Karen, I know that you know, the I forgot my password on YouTube works pretty well because I ended up getting a Mac. I love my Mac now. I was never a Mac person. I thought I'd never be a Mac person. And let me give you all a hint. If you want to be a Mac person and you don't think you can do it because you've been a PC person your whole life, I actually bought a Mac many years ago and ended up giving it to my daughter for college because I could not figure it out. And the reason I couldn't figure it out is because I was thinking like a PC person. I was looking for all the PC words, right? And then when I got my Mac, my new Mac, I realized that the way to use a Mac is to just think of it as an iPhone. And I always had an iPhone. It's so easy when you think of it as an iPhone because then everything is in the same spot as your iPhone. All right, so now we've got a piece of cardstock here that we cut in half, right? So this is 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to turn it this way and we're going to score it at the 2 3/4 of an inch mark. That's the first score line. And the second score line is at the 5 1/2 inch mark. That gives us the 5 1/2 inch fold of the A2, right? But then we're also doing one score in the middle. Now, if you wanted it to be the vertical gatefold, you would score at 2 3/4, and then you'd flip it around and score again at 2 3/4, and then it would fold into the center. All right, so the folds are pretty easy. Now, for this one, I am going to break my rule, and I'm not going to have the, you know, we're not burying the bump here, but we are going to fold away here. And then we're going to fold forward here. Now, I could have scored it on the other side, and probably that's what I should have done, but I'm sweating, and I didn't think of that. So, but you can see I'm a little bit cracked right there because I didn't bury the bump. All right, so here is our Z fold. You can see it's like, it's the letter Z. So that's a Z fold card. Now, we're going to upholster the Z fold card. Oh, come on, ladies. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Now, we're going to put this one here in the big spot, and then we're going to put these here like this. All right, so that's how we're going to adhere all of this. So I see people getting very, very excited about Tom's word of the day. So Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you while I do all of this taping, because they don't need to just hear me talk about tape.
Okay, tape away.
All right, I'll tape away.
Okay, so as mentioned earlier, we got a great suggestion from Diana, on a viewer on our last live comments. Said, throw the word out there and let the viewers decide what it means, or decipher what it means. Okay, so this is going to be an easy one. Pretty much speaks for itself. So I don't think you guys will have trouble. You'll know this one right away. Okay, so you can't go through a mall or an airport these days without confronting this kind of challenge. So the word of the day is, see if you can figure out what it means. The word of the day is Cinnabonsequences. Cinnabonsequences. Anybody? You've all been there.
I've been there. That's a great word of the day. I love it.
Cinnabon
Can't seem to layer
sequences.
things together, but all right. So let's see what they say.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a tough one.
No.
Eating too many, Cindy said,
Okay.
and that's, yeah. It's what you feel after you eat at Cinnabon. Cinnabon sequences. Yeah. So that's exactly right. That's one of many consequences. They're so fun, but even if you eat one, they're so rich they may be consequences. One of which might be Cinnabonstipation. Right?
Yes.
So be careful out there. Enjoying those. And back to the dead space.
Got one to eat on the plane. Teresa got one to eat on the plane. That's so funny. Okay, so now you can see what this looks like when you open it. It's so much prettier than just the plain Z-fold. And we're going to make sure that we only tape half of this panel. So I'm just going to put tape on half of it. Okay. And we're going to tape that down right there like that. So now when that opens up, and let me show you something else here. I probably should have done this because I was thinking about this last night. You can have this open and just center this between these two, and that should center it here as well. Does that make sense? So it should center it there as well. I feel like it could go over just a little bit more, but I was thinking that it could go over a little bit more too on this view. So make sure that we have it taped down over here, and then when you close it, it's centered in this whole frame. See that? Okay, so now I'm going to add my flowers here. I'm going to make a cute little bouquet of flowers. So this is going to stick out there, and we'll put one here and one down here like that. All right, and then we'll have these two little leaves coming in from this side here. Over on this side. Like that. Okay, and then I have to hold this down like this. You know what I'll do? Let me get a block. I'll get a block. There we go. That'll hold it down a little bit. Okay, and now I can pick my greetings. So I can either do something small that's not going to hang off the edge. I think that would be a really nice one. Grateful for your love and support. This is from Graceful Greetings. That would be a really nice one. Or, you know, we could do something big again that kind of extends out over the edge. But I think I like this one. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to tape this down, remembering not to tape the top because it is going to stick out over the edge like that. And then I'm going to tape these leaves down. One here, and then one up here like that. And then I'm going to pop these two up using foam squares. So we'll put this one first. This one over here. Like that. And then this one down here. Let me move this one up a little bit. I think it can stand it. Here we go. And then we'll put this one down here. Okay. And see, all of that is on there, so it's not going to stick to anything else, and this doesn't have any tape on it. I could put a tiny little bit of tape right down here at the bottom just to have it hold on a little bit better, like that. And now I'm going to use some small foam squares to pop up this greeting, but I am going to overlap the greeting a little bit, like maybe not too much. I just won't put it on the F of the word for. And then I'm going to have to cut a couple of these in half.
Question from Woody. If you clean cutting mats to get paper that's stuck in the mat, what do you use?
You know, Woody, I have rinsed them really well with hot water, and then I've scrubbed them with like a scrubby, like a scrub daddy, or, you know, like some kind of little scrub brush. You're not going to get them completely out, but it'll get like all the loose stuff out. Some of it is just too far in there. But that's what I've done. I've used just a scrub brush and hot water at the sink, and it's worked pretty well. So hopefully that helps. Good question. All right, almost here. And of course, you could embellish away on all of these, adding your favorite sequins and fun things like that. Okay, so this is going to go right here. And I did put something. I said I wasn't going to put anything on the word for, and I did. Like a ding-dong. I'll just put a little tape on that word. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now we've got that card that opens up like that. And I would write right on here because that's hidden. So if you wanted to just do a plain white one, you could, but this is certainly light enough that you could write in pen. You could write right here too. So you could write here and right there, and then when you close it, that will be hidden. Isn't that fun? So that is how to use those pieces that come in your Master Layouts 13 die set. So we've got the gatefold, we've got the Z fold, we've got, let me pull some of these out here, we've got this gatefold here, we've got the gatefold with the elements that you can attach and kind of make one that closes up like that, where they interlock. Here we've got the triangle in use. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You're going to see all my messies when I zoom out, but that's okay. Just push that out of the way. Got to clean. Then we've got just a plain card using both two triangles in that center. Here's another gatefold where we subbed in a different shape. And then, of course, we've got this fun stair step card that has the card base on the back so that it stands up. So all of these different cards, fun folds that you can do using the Master Layouts 13 die set. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that this gets you kind of in the mood to start using up some of the pattern paper that you have in your stash, or making your own beautiful pattern papers that you can use and make them the exact colors that you want to match your coordinating cardstock and ink and all of that good stuff. All right, well, Tom, I think we're going to do a giveaway. Definitely going to do a giveaway today, but before we do, I hope you like this series and I hope you find it helpful. And if you did like this video, I hope that you're willing to give it a thumbs up, and also, if you're new here, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell and you'll never miss another video. And then a big shout out to Brianne Loveland for sharing all the links for the products used, as well as all of the links to the fancy fold cards, the YouTube videos that I've done in the past, and of course, all of the downloads. Thank you, Brianne, for all of that. We really appreciate you. If you missed any of the links, you can find all of the products that I used today over on our website at GinaKDesigns.com. Now, if you're new to the Gina K Designs community, we'd love to have you over in our Facebook group. We have a lot of fun over there. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. And you can find lots of inspiration. I'm sure many of our members today will share gatefolds and Z-folds and other things that they've made using this die set. And I'm sure they'll be sharing more in the days to come as well, because we always see great projects that you guys come up with after a video. We love that. And it's a place where you can find inspiration for your other Gina K Designs products, because everybody shares projects using the Gina K Designs product line. So come on over and join us. Just make sure you answer the security questions and agree to our group rules, because if not, we'll have to send you a message saying, hey, can you rejoin again and do those things. We try to keep the spammers out. It's not always easy. The spammers are getting good, but we try our best. All right, and we have 49,000 members over there now, Tom. Did you know that?
Woo!
Yeah, I know. We're getting close to 50,000. When we hit 50,000, we'll have to have a big party over there. That'll be fun. So come on over and help us reach that goal, and we'll have a big giveaway. Okay, well, Tom, I think we should give away a gift card. We have a $15 gift card for one of the lucky members of our chat today. So,
wow, that's pretty good.
Tom?
I thought you were going to give away a Cinnabon.
I'd love to give away a Cinnabon. If I had one, though, I don't know I'd give it away.
And
come on in, we want to see you.
And the Cinnabon sequences along with it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well,
come on in.
Let's do a giveaway.
All right.
Drum roll, please. Here it comes. And today's winner is Donna Kozel. Donna!
Yay, Donna! Congratulations, Donna. Donna, all you have to do is send your name and email address to info@GinaKDesigns.com, and we will get that digital $15 gift card out to you. You can save it for our next release or use it anytime you want. They don't expire. All right, everybody. Well, this was a blast today. I had so much fun making these two cards and sharing all these other ideas. I hope you'll head over to the blog and download your free download sheets and get your binder going. And then Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stampin' Chat Live, so we hope you'll join us then. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.